Welcome back, everyone. I'm here at the New York Stock Exchange. It's theCUBE's East Coast studio headquarters. Of course, partner with the NYSE Wired. I'm John Furrier, your host of theCUBE. It's our access point. This is where the subnet in New York is. All the experts are here. Of course, we have our Silicon Valley studios in Palo Alto connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street, tech and money, and now looking at ARTECH, our new partner and new initiative is to expand AI into art, where cultural change we are seeing for the first time in my career. I've never seen this before. Tech, money, and culture intersecting into one common element. Edward Zheng is the founder of NextG, at the frontier of this, pioneering this with ARTEChism. Art is the soul of time, that's your thesis. Welcome to theCUBE, thanks for coming in to our studio.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that's the theme of theCUBE has always been open source, create a marketplace of ideas, obviously from the tech, that's ideas, creates collaboration, entrepreneurs meet each other, money connects in, ecosystem gets going, it's a propensity, it's collisions of ideas, and that's great for tech, great for people who want to make money. And you and I have had conversations about how in culture, art has the same entrepreneurial energy. You got creators creating digital arts. The role of NFTs have proven that now digital currency is now valuing art. You're seeing store of value with Bitcoin and these things, that's storing the value, but people are creating value with art. And you have a great vision on art as a cultural symbol.
Yes.
And now we're in a new era.
I think if you look at it in the last 2,500 years histories, the civilization making the big progress, driving by the two engines. One is art, one is technology. So we combine the art and together with technology become the ARTECH, which is, we believe, the soul of the time. Actually, today is a very historic day. It's April 4th, and actually we're going to officially launch at the Park Avenue 445 at April 4th, 5 p.m. We're talking about the humanity at the crossroad. We believe today the human being in standing at the three singularities. Between the human and nature, are we going to be sustainable or destroyed? Between the human with tech, are we going to be the master or are we going to be the slave? Between the human with the human, are we going to have a war or are we going to have a peace? Today, if you look at today, it's the biggest stock market drop in the last 10 years. And it's a trade war, and then also if you look at the Middle East, if you look at Ukraine and Russia, there's a war. So my initiative is try to using the art to collecting the global artists, art collectors, philanthropists, and social impactor, investor, technology people in the one marketplace to set up an open forum to discuss using the art to improve the peace, improve the sustainability, improve the technology friendly with the human.
And Edward, I love your vision because, you know, just on its own, it stands on its own. But now you intersect technology and money together, where you're seeing the confluence of all three, where all three have a for good component. There's a whole cultural movement in the tech community in Silicon Valley and here in New York and beyond, where entrepreneurs are thinking about good for the first time, not just making money. Blockchain, more transparent. It's pure capitalism. Exposed and transparent. Money is tied to where the value is, right? So you have now art and humanity are at the crossroads. So you have a humanity. You mentioned some of the things, war. I mean, all these things are going on. So the future of humanity is in the balance right now, and that's a statement. I can just say that. That's cool. I think it's true. But if all the signs point to it. The digital culture is emerging, a generational shift.
That's right.
How value is created, and stored, and distributed. These are all things that are happening right now, and the soul of our humanity is in the middle of it, and could get squashed or it could expand in a good way. So I think it's very hard to see this, but we see this. We've been talking about this, and others have been as well. Elliot Donnelly, the Forward Global Organization, a lot of forward thinkers that have been trying to have impact now can bring it all in with more leverage.
That's right. Actually, one of the our first the incubated art is try to launching the largest open sourced art works. We call it civilization. 12 by 12. Idea is we try to using the 12 disciplines in the histories, and for the 12 iconic figures in each disciplines, the total is a 12 by 12, to using the art, traditional painting, sculptures, and digital art. We're using the multimodal art to go back the history of the civilization. And I think the best forecast for the future is go back the history. So I'm studying math. So I know that if I forecast the humanity where to go, the best way go to history.
Yeah. And history can be put into vector embeds in a neural network, which is math. Nice tie in there. I want to ask you about your vision. You're founder of NextG Group, well-funded. You've done many things in your life successfully. Created a lot of value, wealth. ARTECH is an artistic platform. Can you talk more about this artistic platform as infrastructure? And the word artistic is in there because artists are involved, but it's more than just feeding the artists or helping artists. There's a bigger picture.
Yes.
Explain ARTECH.
Okay, that's a very good question. I actually today, there's a two words try to merge together. One is called a real world asset. Another one is called a digital world asset. So idea is we try to set up one open art infrastructure, connecting online and offline, digital and the real world, on-chain and the off-chain, together for the whole art value chain, from art creation to art exchange to art distribution in the one marketplace. So that's what we call a 7-layer art infrastructure. The first layer is our vision, and the second layer we build the 3 value chain, the real world value chain, the digital world value chain, and also vertical application value chain. And on the top, we try to looking for 10 mega city worldwide to set up maybe 100 big families or art galleries together, and for this 1 million digital frame.
You mentioned before we start at the top of the interview about how the history of art, the revolutions, the big moments, the generations of times. Go back in what year? I mean, zero. Like, there's always been art as a symbol of humanity, our souls, as you say. We haven't seen a lot of innovation in art, but in the past decade, specifically, digital art has emerged. And there's been some arbitrage. We've seen NFTs, a little bit of a hype cycle there, and some profit taking from some people who weren't unethical. But now real players are moving in. Blockchain's maturing. AI is maturing. You're seeing things like metaverses that are digital twins. So this now is real levers. How is that framework changing, and how do you see it changing the creators now, the new generation of creators? They're not painting paintings, they're using digital tools, photography. I know you've produced some films, there's filmmaking, there's music. So it's not just art, it's artistic. Share about this framework, AI, the blockchain, the metaverse, these digital realms.
I think now is a time for new infrastructure. We call it ABM infrastructure, which is AI, blockchain, and the metaverse. And those ABM infrastructure will impact many, many verticals. For example, in the art industry, we're using the ABM infrastructure to using the AI to do the art creation, using AI to do the matchmaking, and also we're using the blockchain to tokenize equity of the art. This is another big driver. It's combining the digital world with the crypto world through the tokenized equity. This is going to be shift $1.7 trillion art industry into merged twin world. So we are pioneer for that.
Well, you're an investor and an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, so that's a big TAM, as they say. What's the advice for entrepreneurs? Target a big market. What was the number?
1.3 trillion.
1.3 trillion.
Offline,
1.7. Okay, close enough.
Okay.
$1.3 trillion in just art.
Art industry. Okay. So we're thinking about maybe 10% would be shift into online and offline, on-chain and on-chain. So tokenized equity together with traditional, this is a tokenized equity, for the real world. but we try to combine together.
Yeah. Let's talk about the inventors, because at the end of the day, value creation drives money.
Yes.
Value creates behavior and society change, and art obviously affects people in a positive way, hopefully. Most artists today look at the current situation like, how do I value my work? Someone can just take a screenshot of it. You saw music, artists are boycotting this. Hollywood went on strike. So there's we're in a transition now between old and new. In our world, on the positive side, people talk about physical AI in context to manufacturing, digital factories, art, digital art. So you're seeing this physical AI trend booming. And as the value creators want to get paid for their work, the value chain you were talking about, there's ways to do that. Can you explain your vision on, in the art world, how me as an artist make money and how my value's preserved so someone could buy it and hang their virtual painting or whatever on their wall?
So I'm studying,
and get paid for it, no one can copy it.
So I'm studying in the crossboard between the digital world and the real world. Okay, so my idea is try to using, we call the multi-module art, which is including the traditional painting, traditional sculptures, together with the digital art, combined together, we tokenize this. This is, we call it multi-module art. So this is our vision. So our idea is using the multi-module art to connecting traditional artists, art collector, art museum, together with a crypto, digital art, digital collector into the one place. We call it tokenized equity. So this is going to be the merge.
I noticed in getting to know you, you have a pioneering career in e-commerce.
We're
old enough to know when e-commerce started, you were there. But there's a lot of similarities between e-commerce and today's world. Everything's commerce.
When 1996, when I first started my internet cafe in China, no one knows internet, and I bring the 11, the wire poles from another way to China World Hotel. I set up first one in China, and at that time no one knows e-commerce. And so we set up the first internet cafe chain in China when Bill Clinton come to China to visit. And also we set up the first online payment, e-commerce, to shipping the one product, shopping in China through my platform Spark has into Montreal. So that's the first online transaction, e-commerce in China. And also I started first RFID in China. So I'm the entrepreneur for all my life.
You're a scarf that should prove it. Well, those are magical moments. Okay, but now compare that to now, because this endeavor you're doing now really is a supply chain of art. You mentioned value chain, but it's a supply chain too. There's an economy, $1.3 trillion. There's a lot of old stuff that's around that's migrating and transitioning over. What are the key areas that you have your eyes on that you think could be enabled or re-enabled or refactored to be the new thing?
I think we're starting from the art, then the film. By the way, I'm also the producer for Belafonte. I'm also making another one, like a Godfather movie, like a Gabino. So I'm the IP owner and producer. So I think from art, the movie, and the music, eventually for whole the creative industry will be tokenized equity. This is a huge market for us.
Well, we're going to bring theCUBE and the NYSE Wired system. We're going to bring art in here at the NYSE. Again, there's money here, there's art here, where you have the art, we get the tech.
I think
Brian has
tech, finance, and art combined together with a powerful media like a CUBE is going to be changing the whole, the landscape. Is going to be merged traditional real world with the digital world in the one marketplace. I hope CUBE will be.
Of course, we're gonna partner. I want to ask you one final question, because I know you feel strongly about how the universe works and good things happen. As we live in a world now where humanity is in the balance. Okay, there's a lot of things like news and media, journalism, art, that are all kind of very brittle right now, very vulnerable. These new trust networks that are emerging. theCUBE, NYSE, we created Wired with Brian Bauman and NYSE, ARTECH, you have a community. There's a whole new protocol emerging around trust networks. What's your vision around how these networks might emerge as the systems of tech, money, and culture come together? New formations of relationships, connected relationships, high velocity communications, trust, are super important. That seems to be an abstraction on top of a pre-existing world.
I think as an entrepreneur, both in Silicon Valley, in China, and North America, the Europe, if you look at the last 30 years histories, always starting from the technology revolution, and then technology infrastructure, and then the vertical applications, and then become the several layers, from infrastructure, middleware, application, and then de facto standard. So I think it's now, if you look at the 30 years from the internet to the Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, from the cloud, now we call the ABM, infrastructure revolution, which is AI, blockchain, metaverse, will be changing the whole infrastructure, and next will be the vertical applications. So we're thinking about the art, real estate, financing, the media. This is exactly the
It's like the first internet cafe in China, like the first generation movement
in Manhattan. So I hope Park Avenue today we're going to soft launch.
Explain the launch. So today's a special day, April 4th.
At 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
at 445 Park Avenue. I'm going to walking 4 directions: east, west, north, and south, 4 steps, and stop in the middle as a cross street called 445 Art Performance. So we invite you to come.
It should start at 4:45, not 5. But since you get the numbers right.
Okay.
So today's 445 Park. And we should start at 4:45 to keep the numbers.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Great to
Thank
partner
you.
with
Thank you, John.
ARTECH is coming to theCUBE again. Culture shift. Not just about tech and finance, it's about culture as well. You manage the balance. Again, we do our part sharing the knowledge with you here in theCUBE. My name is John Furrier, host of theCUBE. Thanks for watching.